Welcome to Southern Sense Talk on Rumble. You are going to love Annie the Radio Chickadee Ubelis and her co-host, C.S. Bennett. You'll find them live here on Fridays from 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Date Time. Check out their website at Southern Sense, as in commonsense.net. It's that easy, southernsense.net. So sit back and relax. They're informative, fun, irreverent, and politically incorrect. You never know where they'll go, but you'll love the journey.
All right, welcome to another adventure here on Southern Sense. I'm Annie, the chickadee, or whatever you want to call me, you bellas, along with a guest co-host who was my former co-host for a long number of years when we were on Blog Talk Radio and did audio only. Now I get to see his smiling face. Cool Mike.
Oh, thank you for having me, Annie.
I got to tell you, it never fails. I always mess up the opening. So, hey, listen, I'm batting 1,000.
You were always a radio chick.
Well, not the radio chick anymore. It's just the chickadee.
Oh, okay.
Hey, listen, we got some really, really great guests coming up. We have Robert Bork Jr. He's the president of the Antitrust Education Project. And he's got a new book out. It's called The New Paradox, Antitrust and the Threat of Conservative Socialism. It is very interesting. I've delved into it, and we're going to be talking about that and some of the other things that are happening today that come directly into this line of fire. Also, something different. At the end, a little bit more uplifting, we got Andy Ross. He's a country and patriotic rock artist, former TV host, and the founder of American Rebel. And he's going to be a pistol. He will be a pistol. Well, we got so much to talk about, so much that's going on. We had the 2 terrorist attacks here in the United States that everyone's talking about. But as this is going on also, in Rotterdam, there was an attack on a synagogue. Someone threw a firebomb or something like that, or tried to burn down the synagogue. It didn't happen. I don't know whether or not the person was caught. I don't think they were. But it's not happening just here. It's starting to happen everywhere else. And we're coming into, I think, a second crusade. We had
an attack here in Michigan, where I think a car tried to. I'm not sure of all the details, but same thing. And well, we know the previous administration opened the borders to anyone and everyone, and of course, you would be a fool if you're an opposing country to not put your sleeper cells in, especially when you can just walk in the front door.
In previous shows, I've said that what happened is we know there are 18,000 known terrorists that are inside the United States now. We don't know where they are, but we know that they're here. Out of those 18,000, 700 we know for sure are Iranian. And the attack in Michigan, the Temple Israel was the name of the place, and they did identify the suspect. He was from Dearborn Heights, Michigan, which has the largest Arab population. And let me see if I can find this guy's name. He was upset because his 2 brothers were killed in Lebanon by one of our drones, or I don't know what, but they died because they were in the wrong place. They're attached to the wrong people. They're terrorists, honestly.
Does it ever surprise you, Annie? This happens even locally here. The police shoot somebody, and they always come up like these individuals were like these angels, and they were out doing charitable work in the convent or something, and they just happen to get hit by a drone strike. I mean, this is ridiculous. These people are terrorists, and as much as none of us really want to go to war, this is long overdue to absolutely wipe clean. We financed this. Barack Obama gave them the money, and we financed this.
He said, "Well, how much would in billions of dollars in suitcases?"
I was reading. I was reading in detail, Annie, that one of the Iranians' negotiation points, they insisted on U.S. dollars, not dinars or any. How does that? Funny how that works. They hate us. They want to kill us. They want to blow us up. But death to America. But send me your money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other attack here in the United States was at the Old Dominion University in Virginia. And the terrorist did not survive, which I found the mannerism of it quite heroic. What this guy did was he went into one of the classrooms, and the colonel that was teaching it, was it Brandon Shaw? He was one of the helicopter pilots that was flying through the Middle East in some of the most major operations that were going on. He went into the classroom to teach, military, I don't know what it is, but something with dealing with how you behave in the field of action. Forgive me if I don't remember it all, but when the gunman came in and killed the colonel, the students themselves took action. So the gunman did not die from gunfire. He died when these other students subdued him.
Yeah, and you went mute for a minute, Annie. But yes, and I think we saw recently. There was a here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I am. There was an individual who pulled out a gun and it was a restaurant. An employee who was legally concealing shot him before he shot. This guy started shooting. So the employee put down the threat. He got shot in the process. But I mean, that's like you mentioned, those students, thank goodness they took action. Who knows if this guy's going down the hallway, what could happen? Yeah.
Well, what was amazing is that the temple that was attacked, they had a shooter training incident. One of those things they hook up with local law enforcement and have like an active shooter, and you go through all the paces on what you would do should they be attacked. And that was only 6 weeks before this attack. So these guys that were guarding the temple and the temple itself was ready. They were prepared. And the one guard that was injured when the vehicle struck him. And supposedly he's at the hospital. He's going to be okay, as I understand. Our prayers go out to him. And the courage that these men and women had, because they were going after the children. They were going after the children.
Just horrible.
So we have to all be prepared.
Yes, we most certainly do. And imagine, Annie, going after kids. I mean, that says it all. And I don't know why we call them terrorists. They're Democrats. That's well, Annie. You know what? That's the shock, as always. I say, but stop to think about this. Take your terrorist and give him a ballot. You're still in Beaufort County, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So give him a ballot at the same polling place you're at. Is he going to vote for anyone that you're voting for? Of course
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. So basically, they're Democrats. We come up with all kinds of names for them. They're Democrats. Their ballot looks exactly the same as Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, or any of these people you see throwing rocks at the police or Molotov cocktails.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much that is going on in the news, and people, we do have to be prepared. Because of the open borders, we don't know who is here, and there's several different things that could happen, especially in attacks on religious institutions, because they have attacked Christian institutions prior, and they're still going after the Jewish community. They want Sharia law in the United States. They want Islam to be the dominant, not just religion, but shape of government, because Islam is the government. This says communism is your faith. Communism is the government. Same with Islam. And that's why Russia and China get along so well with these terrorists, because it's the same mindset.
It not only is the same mindset, but if you stop to think, Annie, I have a cousin who's in Great Britain, Nigel Farage, and he's talked about they've taken over cities. And as a matter of fact, because he's talking about deporting them, in one of the cities they've taken over, they issued a bench warrant for his arrest. And he pointed out that you're an illegal, so you can't even be a real judge. But this just goes to show you they don't assimilate. And this is what you just said. And that is why they get along with communists and the CCP so well. Their goal ultimately is very close and similar to the kind of government that they want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is why we have to be prepared. Here in South Carolina, we're trying to get legislation through to ban Sharia law in South Carolina. And our Constitution, it said government shall not establish any religion. But in Islam that wants to take over our government will make Islam the religion. Violation of our Constitution. And these no-go zones where Sharia law usurps the actual rule of law here in the United States, it's unconstitutional.
Yeah,
and
well, you don't have a constitution
blue
with these
states
people.
that allow this. You got a whole area in Dearborn.
Yeah, and as I was pointing out for Great Britain, is that their prime minister just wants to appease them. He look how late on the draw he is in taking on. This is the most evil of evil. And they've attacked bases that belong to the UK. And finally, he's now getting involved. This just goes to show you, Annie, what I said earlier. I know it was kind of a shot, but they're Democrats. That's what these people are. And the Democrats within this country that hate Trump so much. You saw a group of them not even cheering for our hockey team going against Canada because they can't, because they dislike our country so much. And it's not Trump. They hated us long before all of this.
But he becomes the straw man. He actually becomes the straw man. And while we're worrying about just that between Trump and radical Islam, the rest of us get lulled by lamestream media that refuses to report correctly. And it drives me crazy because when we had those two guys throwing the bombs at the protesters in New York City, it was Mandami's house. I'm sorry. It's not Mandami's house that they threw it at. It was the Gracie Mansion, the mayor home, which is representative of New York City. It's New York City's home that they attacked. It's not Mandami's home. He doesn't own it. He doesn't pay the mortgage on it or the taxes or anything else. No, it's not his home. It's a temporary residence for him as a mayor. It's a courtesy from the city of New York. So it's the city's home.
You may not get rid of him if we don't do something soon. It may be his home. That is just horrible. I mean, not just that, but the fact that they can get away with doing that. It's almost like people are revering these people for attacking the police officers. And then Mandami makes a comment, "Oh, it's a snowball." There is no you hope someday you can talk to people, reason with them, and educate. There is none with these people. They are fully indoctrinated for their cause.
Yeah, it is. But I want to shift a little bit here because, every show we do, we start with a dedication to a fallen hero. And today is no different. Today's dedication is going to go out to Sergeant Schlattman, who had served with the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office for over 13 years. Surviving him is his father, sister, his fiance, and her children. Sergeant Michael Schlattman was struck and killed by a tractor trailer during a traffic stop on Interstate 40 near Carneal. Around 5 p.m. that evening on February 23rd, Sergeant Schlattman had pulled over a vehicle near mile marker 170. While he was outside of his patrol vehicle, a semi-truck hit his vehicle, pitting him between the two vehicles. Sergeant Schlattman died at the scene. The driver was injured and released. On that stretch of the highway, there have been over 100 crashes and multiple fatalities during sundown as the glare causes low visibility. And here's the dedication to Sergeant Michael Schlattman.
always honor the fallen, and they make and gave the ultimate sacrifice.
And tonight, a BCSO sergeant's name is on that solemn list.
Sergeant Michael Schlattman hit and killed during a traffic stop along I-40.
This is going to be for one of our officers who was hit by a semi. We do have SO units on scene at this time.
And as the investigation continues into this tragic crash, BCSO and other law enforcement agencies are honoring Sergeant Schlattman.
BCSO here, we're a family, we call him Schlotty.
And the mark he made not only on the sheriff's office, but on the county he served for nearly 14 years. And here we are nearly 24 hours later, and this is still haunting many New Mexicans tonight. Not just the Bernalillo County deputies who lost one of their own. BCSO Sergeant Michael Schlattman died yesterday evening after getting hit during a traffic stop on I-40.
Investigators say a semi hit his patrol unit and him on the shoulder near Carnwell. Our Emily Faith is joining us now, and Emily, still obviously a very shocking and heartbreaking situation for so many that were involved last night.
Yeah, and what we know right now is it was just a normal day, and Sergeant Michael Schlattman was conducting a normal traffic stop. And that's when the worst possible scenario happened, leading to the unthinkable tragedy. Tonight, family, friends, and everyone at BCSO are grieving the loss of a man they say had a heart of gold.
Fire Control to Battalion 7, Engine 40, Rescue 40, being en route to mile marker 170, eastbound on I-40 for 29 Delta 1. This is going to be for one of our officers who was hit by a semi. We do have SO units on scene at this time.
BCSO here, we're a family, we call him Schlotty.
Sergeant Michael Schlattman killed in the line of duty during a routine traffic stop on I-40 eastbound outside of Carnwell.
Arriving on scene, we have multiple vehicles rolling over on the command.
A semi-truck crashing into Sergeant Schlattman's patrol car, pinning him underneath.
So we do have CPR in progress. CPR in progress, 1710.
He died as a result of his injuries. It's horrific, tragic, and our entire agency, along with his family, we're all grieving at this point.
Creating an unforgettable scene for first responders and witnesses.
It's going to change their lives forever.
I've never seen, especially through that area, I've never seen a wreck like that.
I remember him as a cadet and a rookie.
Sheriff John Allen fighting back tears.
Training him to become a Bernalillo County deputy.
Remembering his friend and colleague.
Schlotty was always out there with his people, his deputies, not only answering calls for service, but making sure his deputies were okay, whether that was personally, whether that was professionally, whether we were shorthanded. Schlotty was a true leader in every respect.
Promising to honor Schlattman's legacy and serve with resilience.
That was his last call tonight. We'll take it from here, and that's always been the tradition in law enforcement around the nation. We have no other choice. That's what we signed up for. That's what we'll continue to do.
Now, to keep the investigation as neutral as possible, Rio Rancho PD is taking point on the case, with other agencies helping as well. While they aren't able to say too much with the investigation ongoing, Rio Rancho PD told me today the driver of that semi is not in custody at this time. We'll share any updates we receive on air and online. And also a link to the GoFundMe for Sergeant Schlattman's family can be found inside this story on KOB.com. Back to you.
Emily, thank you. You could also help donate money to Sergeant Schlattman's family by donating through 1082. That's an organization that helps families of first responders who are either killed or just wounded in the line of duty. We will be holding a Pay It Forward hotline with 1082 this coming Thursday evening from 5 to 7. Just join us in our 5 o'clock newscast for those numbers to call.
Let it be said, when we finish this race, we kept them free, we led with grace. Let it be seen, from sea to shining sea, beautiful America, living our legacy. Oh, father, mother, sister, brother, oh, each other. Oh, for the soul of the nation, for the next generation. Let us be known as people of honor, humble and bold, faithful through fire. Let us hold firm to our convictions with wide open hearts, eager to listen. Oh, father, mother, sister, brother. Oh, we gotta learn to love each other. Oh, for the soul of the nation, for the next generation. Let us make room. Let us reimagine welcoming voices with true compassion. Let's craft a world with hopes and dreams, the challenges known and those still unseen. Oh, father, mother, sister, brother. Oh, we gotta learn to love each other. Oh, for the soul of the nation, for the next generation. Let us be sure when our time has come, we gave them hope, we made them strong. Let it be said when we finish this race, we kept them free, yeah, we led with grace. Oh, father, mother, sister, brother. Oh, we gotta learn to love each other. Oh, for the soul of the nation, for the next generation. Let it be said. Oh, father, mother, sister, brother. Oh, we gotta learn to love each other. Oh, for the soul of the nation, for the next generation.
All right, and we are back. You are here watching Southern Sense live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Rumble, Substack, and half a dozen other places, or even more that I don't even know about. I found myself on Spotify, and I also looked at iHeart, and it's on iTunes. We're all over. It's either video or audio, depending upon what the service is. We're glad to get the message out, the Christian conservative message.
That was a beautiful tribute, Annie. Just beautiful.
Thank you.
As always, they bring a little tears to your eyes for you just take for granted those who sacrifice.
Yeah, and speaking of which, we do these dedications to honor the men and women that had either did something extraordinary or in their line of duty had passed, whether they are first responders, police, firefighters, emergency service, or military. From the birth of our nation through today, we honor all of our military. Matter of fact, one thing I wanted to mention is that there was a crash of a U.S. Air Force military craft. It was a KC-135, and these are those large aircrafts that do the refueling of the fighter planes in midair. They also carry the wounded out. And these 6 people, they were doing a routine fueling, and the other plane landed fine. Unfortunately, they did not, and all 6 members on that plane had passed away. Another thing we'll note that we're using these refuelers, and the last one was built in the 1960s. So we need to get our House and Senate to finally get a bill in there that will properly fund our military and get them the equipment they need to protect this nation.
Absolutely.
I mean, so for these 6 members, our prayers go out to their families and their friends during this troubling time. And we'll learn more about what caused this crash. And maybe, I don't know, get them the equipment they need, damn it. Just do it.
Well, we certainly, for those they volunteer, we certainly need to protect them. And we're watching in Iran right now. I mean, what happens when we have a first-class military? So, and you got to keep it up as much as it is an expense. You definitely have to keep it up. And one of the things I'm really interested in is our guest, Annie. Not a lot of people remember Robert Bork Sr. And if you remember, at least in my lifetime, that was kind of the first trickery that these people did to bring down a nominee, and how they twist words, how the media, they put on these little performances. You follow what I'm saying? And then the next thing you know, well, okay, John Doe, he recuses himself, says, I'll step back, pick a new nominee. And you're almost forced to pick someone who's left of center because they won't pass anyone. So, I mean, and Bork stood strong. He was a constitutional period judge.
Yeah.
Was he George Bush? He was George Bush, right?
I believe so. I
Yeah.
believe so. And, the way they treated his nomination, the questions they asked, it ended up being that when someone went before the Senate for approval for a nomination and they get ripped apart like the way Robert Bork was, everyone said he got borked.
Yes, that obviously became a statement, but it was true. It's all of a sudden now, and they were lies. 100% of this was all lies, and it was a plan by Edward Kennedy, like he should be talking, but and his gang then, and of course they modernized it in the 90s, and of course once Trump got elected, they attempted to do that. The positive thing is Trump has stuck with his nominees.
Yeah, and it's a good thing.
Yes, it certainly is.
Our guest should be joining us very shortly, waiting for him to come in, because a lot of this I want to talk to him about. But you had mentioned what's going on in Iran. And when I heard that they nominated the Ayatollah's son to take the position of Supreme Commander, I said, something's wrong here. I mean, something stinks. And I said, first off, he can never be an Ayatollah because he's not even an imam. You have to be an imam and before you become an Ayatollah. There's certain things you have to go through. And Mike, if you can just steady your camera.
I'm trying to do that as we speak. It keeps going down. We'll go off while I'm trying to work on this.
All right. Okay. Anyway, I was mentioning about the new supreme leader, and I just thought, first off, he didn't do everything he needed to do under Islam and Sharia law to gain that position, and why he would be appointed supreme commander. He's never been seen since the bombing that killed his father. And what comes out of his quote office is a typewritten note. And I said, something's wrong here. And now we find today that he may have badly injured his leg, or they may have been amputated. That's talking about he's disfigured. My question is he actually alive? And who is actually in charge? Is it the council that they have there? Is it the Republican Guard? I don't know. But we'll find out more as it hits the news. And hopefully Mike will join us back. But we have a gentleman who I enjoy seeing his smiling face, and bring him on because we're just talking about his dad, Robert Bork Jr. Good afternoon, Robert. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Right. I've got a guest co-host today, and he's having a little fidgety with his camera. So
I saw it
just
sort of slide off the screen.
I was getting dizzy as it going around and around and around. But anyway, you got a new book out, The New Paradox, and it is a fascinating book. Honestly, I've not completed the whole book, but I have been reading it. And when I do read it, I use the Kindle so I can highlight and make notes. And on your book, it was like almost every page. Oh no, I got to catch this. I got to catch that.
As long as you don't find any typos, that'd be helpful.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. My late husband and I did have a printing business. So when people sent us stuff, yeah, you got to proofread it.
Yeah.
Well, you're also the president of the Antitrust Education Project. And it's funny because something came across that Trump had put out an executive order dealing with these corporations that were snatching up single family homes. And he put out an executive order trying to get them to divest on it. As I also understand now, there was legislation. I'm trying to find the paperwork that came out. You wrote an article about it. One easy way to address the affordability position. And I'm saying, well, if they turn around and rule that they must divest themselves of these homes within a certain time period, I'm looking at that. They're going to flood the market suddenly with these homes that are dumped cheaply.
Nothing is easy,
And then the property values of people like me find these homes dumped on the market. Our property value now goes down, which affects someone like older who, like I am, they're thinking about doing a reverse mortgage. Property value goes down. Oops, I don't qualify now for reverse. I'm looking at this whole way that where they're trying to help the guys get affordable housing, they're hurting everyone else in the interim, aren't they?
But, as everything in economics is, the more the government gets involved, the worse it gets. And I don't really have a problem with investors buying up homes. There should be probably some legislation about that, but mostly I prefer a free market. And I would think that we should allow, there are probably a lot of homes that could use some, rebuilding, some modification. Maybe these guys are going to do it. What I was writing about in that article you mentioned, though, was really my problem with, in antitrust, looking at the realtors and how they seemed somehow to maintain, a commission structure that is anti-competitive. You can't, if you want to go in and sell, be a realtor, or not a realtor, that's a brand, but a real estate agent, and sell homes for less than 6% commission, they fight you every way they can. They keep you off of Zillow. They keep you in a special section of Zillow that nobody ever goes to. It is a business that is truly, I think, a monopoly and worth government scrutiny. But they're a very powerful, lobby. So who knows if that'll happen? But it's possible that it could. Again, what I worry about, more generally speaking, is just maintaining as free a market as we possibly can, and keeping the government from making industrial policy, deciding who winners and losers are going to be. And that's sort of where we are in antitrust today. The government is not allowing the consumer, is not relying on the consumer welfare standard, not allowing the consumer to make the choices they want to make, but in fact, you know, and developing policies to go after different segments of the economy, to limit innovation and growth, which we really need at this point in our economic life. We're on the verge of, I think, you know, always on the verge of some sort of meltdown over the debt, the unfunded liabilities. Now you got me going, Ann. All right.
No, though I want you to keep on going.
Well, I should say that I think part of that is, and what the book is about, is that we've gotten away from the basic conservative principles of free market economics, and the conservatives are aligning with the left. You know, they've become conservatives, a word that takes into account the very short but dangerous and damaging administration of the FTC by Lena Khan, who's now out. But we have too many conservative standards that are policies that are being undermined by a belief that the government should be more involved and should be setting industrial policy and trying to solve problems that are best left to the consumer and to the marketplace.
Well, yeah, your book, The New Paradox, Antitrust and the Threat of Conservative Socialism. You wrote this with Mark W. Davis. And I'm telling you, when I read it, whoops, here we go. I do my little highlights on the notes. So I have things that I want to talk to you about in that, because you're talking about here that policy developments from the same administration are radical. They're no longer conservative, which is what we're finding here. But there was a standard, of course, all right, the consumer welfare standard that passed in the 1970s. And it basically helped the free market do what we want it to do. But instead, everyone's saying government should be doing this instead of we thinking for ourselves. And that's right. The basis of the consumer welfare standard. You'll give you the ability to make a decision without any government regulation or interference.
I hate to correct there, but there is government regulation. There should be government regulation as long as it's applied in a way that benefits the consumer and not the competitor. My father wrote my book title is sort of a play off my father's book on antitrust called The Antitrust Paradox, that was written published in 1978. He actually wrote it in the 60s, and was its thinking was adopted by the Supreme Court in 1979, and that has been the basis of antitrust enforcement since then, until the Biden administration came in and decided to tear it down and to import. I think we've had this conversation before, Ann.
It's possible.
So I won't belabor it, but basically, antitrust has moved away from its almost 50-year tradition of allowing mergers and acquisitions and business policies, business practices that don't harm the consumer. If they harm the consumer, they should be punished under antitrust law for things like restraining trade. That's the Sherman Act, and other antitrust laws which are applicable. But they were vaguely written and poorly interpreted by the courts for years, and really to protect competitors from each other rather than protect the consumers. So that's where we are now. And this book argues that the Democrats under Biden leadership really made a mess of antitrust and tried to destroy the standard that had worked for 50 years. And the Republicans the Trump administration that's in there now, hasn't changed anything. They haven't reverted to the policy that worked for almost 50 years. They've, in fact, sort of twisted it further to be more of an industrial policy than even the Bidens did.
You know, we see Trump doing a lot of great things, but then on the other hand, you see certain things that are going, what are you thinking about? But we have an administration that has other individuals buried within it that are left over from the left. And and policies that got put in place that have never changed. And the funny thing is, when he was elected the first time, and I'm watching on TV, I'm screaming at him, fire everyone around you and get your new
Probably a good
people
idea.
in here. And I just don't understand why he didn't. So these people are so entrenched in the background, doing their little games they playing, and they're pulling the strings without us even knowing it. So you talk about this in your book, and policies that was set. There was one, Tim Wu, and you also talked about Lena Khan, and you call her the Khan job,
Right.
which I thought was excellent. But
Thank
the
you.
puppet masters are still in the background, and
The
I think
puppet
that's
masters-
our biggest.
Listen, they
yeah.
got the Biden antitrust regulators are gone, but the ones that came in are as bad or worse. The chairman of the FTC is a Trump appointment. Now, he was a clerk for Clarence Thomas when he was a law clerk there, but his views about the consumer welfare standard are that it's somehow obsolete, old-fashioned, to put the consumers first in your thinking when you're affecting antitrust policy. His view is that we should, in fact, the first thing he did was made a decision to keep what the Biden administration created in antitrust policy. They wrote something called the antitrust guidelines, which were different than the ones before in the last Trump administration, first Trump administration, and they eliminated the consumer welfare standard as a principal guideline. The Bidens did, and then the second Trump administration guys, the Ferguson, kept what the Bidens put in, and seem to have no interest in changing it back from that, because what it does, it gives the regulator more control to do what the regulator wants, to insert government authority over things other than consumer choices. And it's just my point of the book is that this shift from conservatism to conservative socialism is bad for the economy. It's bad for affordability. The big buzzword these days is affordability. And if you're gonna apply socialist principles to economic regulation, things like antitrust and other things, what you're going to get is higher prices. You're going to maintain higher prices. You're going to stifle the productivity gains, the efficiency gains of corporations. You're going to, these are the companies that create the wealth and jobs in this economy are going to be punished for doing so. And we can't afford that. We can't afford that when we're running almost $40 trillion in debt and hundreds of millions of dollars of unfunded liabilities, So, and then when the president attacks Iran, which I think is a good idea, but hasn't really made provision for what we're going to do about gas prices and other things, that is a problem. And so therefore you can't also be punishing the companies that create jobs and wealth in this economy. That was a rather long-winded answer to, but it's a big problem. So I guess long-winded answers are okay.
All right, no, because as you're just talking, so many things are flashing through my head.
Well, interrupt me.
But I think this is one of the things you and I talked about in the past, about how regulation is now taking the place of actual law. And people are being punished, they're being fined, and some even being jailed because they are not in line with whatever regulation of the day is out there. And this is the major problem, that we have our government imposing regulations on us that have the power of law without them actually being, in fact, law.
Right. So a lot of these independent agencies, supposedly independent agencies, like the FTC, like the EPA, a lot of famous examples. Oh, there he is. A lot of famous examples of that. Those are essentially laws that are made by regulators and have not been debated and written and debated and approved by Congress and signed by the president. Because government is big, we've offloaded all of the responsibility and authority to these independent agencies, and it's creating lots of problems. But hopefully that's going to be rolled back a little bit by the Supreme Court when they get rid of some of these bad precedents that they have.
Robert, if I can ask a question, Annie, do you mind? Can I jump in here?
Not at all. That's why you're here.
I have two quick questions.
Yes, sir.
I think a lot of us, we like Trump. He's one of the best presidents in our lifetime, if not the best.
Yes.
But isn't this just more, him being a builder? I mean, it's kind of like, it's an illusion to help people like me and you. But realistically, it's once again, kind of something from the good old boys club. And then secondly, shouldn't a lot of the housing regulations and all that be really left up to the local city and county ordinances and, keep the federal government completely out of that?
Well, I do agree in the notion that federal government, and its reach into our lives should be smaller. I do agree also that Trump, I think, is a kind of guy, and we've seen this now for the first year of the second term, even and going back into the first term. You're right. He is an entrepreneur, a guy who owns his own company, and when he wants something done, he wants it done. He doesn't want to have to go ask other people about it. Doesn't want to have to ask Congress about it, and so in many ways, he wants to move fast and break things, which I think was a motto of Google for a while. That he wants to go ahead and do it, and if people want to bring a lawsuit against him and go to the Supreme Court, well, he'll have accomplished most of what he wants to accomplish before it gets that far. And there's something in a way kind of admirable about somebody who just wants to fix things and get things done. But, we do have a constitution and we do have rules in place about how things ought to be done. And I think he creates more problems than he solves sometimes.
My next question is, first of all, I am going to get a copy of your book. I would like
one. I haven't gotten one from the publisher yet.
as a conservative, I see a lot of this within the GOP, that they are, in some ways, sometimes to the left of the left, but they have an R next to their name. My follow-up question, it's kind of a shift, but after things were said and done with your father, how horribly he was treated, did he ever talk to you or your mom or just in family how it set a precedence? I think this was the first time that these pure evil people just absolutely attacked in a way that we had not seen before in the past.
Yes. Well, he did speak about that. I think you can find a couple of speeches where he talked about it on YouTube. One at UVA shortly thereafter. But also, if you go to his book, his first book, which was oh my God, now I can't remember the name of the book.
The internet will remember the name.
Huh?
The internet will remember the name.
I can't be typing while I'm talking. But in his first book after that, he explained how it all went and what went wrong and what he thought would be the negative effects of it. But we'll just go back to personally. It was very upsetting for all of us in the family to see this happen. I was a reporter in Washington at U.S. News and World Report when it happened, and I quit my job over it. I just was so sick of the media and my journalist buddies who just seemed to be, well, in a way it was sort of the like Trump derangement syndrome. There was a Bork derangement syndrome going on at that time, where perfectly reasonable people just couldn't see past the propaganda coming from the left. And I would try to explain to them why they were wrong, and they just couldn't deal with it. I would just, to answer your question, he was never beaten by it. He was never. People said, was he bitter? Well, he was sad about it. He was, but bitter is a word I don't associate with my father.
I thought he was a great candidate.
Thank you.
Well, I loved it because I was watching it. Matter of fact, you're talking about 78. Was it? What years was it?
1987.
87.
September of 1987.
George Herbert Walker Bush, who he himself was spineless.
I was married to my first husband. That's right.
Well, he was nominated by Reagan. You're right, and George H.W. Bush was the vice president then, and he was actually very, very nice and supportive. I've met with him and my family a couple of times during that period. In fact, I went on to work for him, his White House in trade. I worked for the U.S. Trade Representative, but. I just don't think anybody knew what was coming. They should have, but they didn't. And it was a sort of like bombing Iran secretly. Come in the middle of the night and do it. It just happened. We were all expecting, a little rough and tumble, but not anything like that. It just hit us like a ton of bricks on the day of the nomination when Ted Kennedy stood up in the Senate and said all those horrible things about
what a monster.
We suddenly realized, oh, this is different. This is not going to be your grandfather's confirmation hearing.
No, but there was a mindset that we still have as conservatives and Republicans, whatever you want to call us at the moment, but we have a certain mindset that, people play nice. And
you don't live here then.
No, but we're so accustomed to being, nice and calm. We'll just take care of our families and our jobs and just get on with our daily lives as everything is normal. But we're not paying attention to what is happening behind the scenes. And this is one of the things with your website, the Antitrust Education Project, that you've written fantastic articles in there and you're doing great work with it. But we were not thinking that the person that, even though you're on the opposite side of the aisle, would be vile and vicious, even evil, to call it that. We don't play that way, and that's the whole problem. We don't play that way. So we've got to turn around.
Used to have used to say about people that there's a whole this is back during Reagan in sense that there is we all just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. I think generally speaking, conservatives, Republicans, middle America just wants to be left alone to do its thing. But the people on the other side, they are activists in the worst sense of the word, and they have a desire to impose their will. I don't know that they would ever be happy with whatever they impose because they'll come up with something else. They have this sort of utopian vision of a world which wouldn't be very much a utopia to you or me, but it would ultimately, I think, lead to the end of America per se.
Now, like I said, you got excellent articles on this, the Antitrust Education Project.org. And one of the items that caught me was you wrote this back in January 28th. It was called "Why Are Trump Regulators Still Shouldering the Legacy of Lena Khan?" And this is everything we have been talking about now here today.
Mm-hmm.
So because we as conservatives, we just like to live our lives and be left alone. But when you poke the bear too many times, someone like you is willing to step forward and say, enough is enough is enough. And someone asked me why I'm still doing this. This is now my 16th year of doing this. Why? Because I need to get your voice out there. I need to have people hear the other side of the coin and not what lamestream media is showing us. They put a little nice bells and whistles on it, and they say you're helping the environment, so you have to use these type of light bulbs. You're wasting water and it's damaging our planet, so you can only have these type of shower heads and toilets. And this is what we are now doing. It is inside our daily life. And unless we say enough is enough, it's not going to stop. But that's what you're doing here, especially in your book.
I'm
You're
trying.
exposing it all.
Others are trying too. You're trying. I hope it's enough to at least hold back the tide, but I don't know.
Quick
I'm looking at-
question with that. Okay, Trump, obviously, for 16 years now, these people are obsessed with Trump. 24/7. I mean, they just can't, whether it's social media, Trump comes out of their mouth every 15 seconds. Why haven't other Republicans followed suit in like pushing a constitutional conservatism? I mean, even some of the ones we've really kind of, even with the Tea Party movement or a little bit after that, kind of look to as our field generals. They've seemed to have, they just don't seem to have the fight of the fight for constitutional conservatism.
I think in a sense you're right. There are a lot of people out there, a lot of great speakers and thinkers and writers who do that, and a lot of real people who look for that leadership from those people. But in a way, I think this may be the most simple answer to your question. All of us who are conservatives have jobs. We have places to go and things to do, and a lot of the left, a lot of the agitators on the left, that's what they do. That's their job. You've seen, I think, some of the reporting that shows that these dark money left-wing organizations pay for the signs and the travel and the protests and the stuff. We have some of that, but not anything like the left. The left is they're professional agitators, and the thing is, they don't have anything really to offer except complaining. And if you don't think we're doing enough out here on the right, I think for a lot of people, it's because they're busy living their lives, raising their kids, trying to make a living so that they can send them to school or whatever. I think that's part of the issue.
You hit the nail on the head, because we did an interview with a gentleman who ran a business where he helped recruit these paid agitators, these paid participants, as he called them. And one was exposed recently by what is it? What do they call them? These guys from YouTube that just suddenly start reporting and exposing stuff. I forget the term. But one person they were tracking, she was supervising these pro-Palestinian movements, protesters, whatever you want to call them. She was being paid $80,000 a year to do this. Plus, she gets additional monies from different agencies that are on the left, and she's raking in money. So you follow the Benjamins, you'll see exactly what the Democrats are up to. And I say that, just follow the Benjamins, because they have a system in place that, hey, listen, you put it up on Craigslist, or you're a member of this group. All right, here you get $50. Or no, let's give you $500 to show up. New York City, Chicago, LA, Detroit, DC. You see the same exact people, and you can track them on their smart device, and they will know exactly when and where they were by just tracking them.
I think that guy did that with that movie, The Mules, like 2000 Mules. And
Dinesh D'Souza.
Yeah, Robert, by the way, I like your coffee cup. And speaking of this, Annie, you brought up a point that, I have a cousin who I believe will be the next prime minister of Great Britain. And he had mentioned, now this is 12 hours, a half a day before any of us knew the name George Floyd, they were rioting for George Floyd abroad, across the pond.
I've heard that story. I don't know anything about that, but
yeah. Well, he's like, who's George Floyd? I don't know. Well, how should I know George Floyd? I mean, I never heard of the name. But 12 hours later, so Annie, you're right. This is a network. If you're taking pictures, you're bound to see some of the same people, and those team leaders rake in the cash. I mean, they stay in nice hotels. They're not out there throwing rocks. They're facilitating, and they're making all kinds of dough.
They are. Well, Robert, we're running out of time, but I want people to know they can go to Amazon and get your book, The New Paradox. They can also check your website out, which is the Antitrust Education Project.org. We got to have you back because there's so much more to talk about. And I have like about 20 different pages I printed out from the computer to talk to you about. And we got through only about half of it.
Oh, well, anytime, man, anytime.
Well, God bless you, and thank you for the hard work you do. I got to remove Mike for a while he plays around with his camera.
I thought his
But
boat was
this
sinking.
is live. This is live. You're going to find us all over the place, and it is what it is, which makes me do this for now 16 years and still running a tea party. And I have my next meeting on the 23rd for 17 years.
Wow.
And we have had a packed room, and we have candidates coming in because Nancy Mace is losing her seat. And I got 17 candidates just on the Republican side. I'm bringing them all in. I'm bringing them all in. Well, Robert, it is a pleasure always to have you. And like I said, I love seeing your smiling face.
I love seeing yours. It's really great fun. Call the booker, call me. I'll be back on anytime you want.
All right. God bless you, Robert. You have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Okay. We got our next victim in on the show here, and I'm going to bring him in. Andy Ross, for the first time he's with us. I have a guest co-host because my normal one has you have no hearing? I've got hearing here. It's got to be on your side.
I can't hear you.
I don't know why. Unfortunately, I have audio here. What I can do while we try to figure this out, let's do this. Bear with me for now, and we'll get this up. Do it full screen. There we go. And
I fly high above this courthouse lawn, red, white, and blue. I stand for you. And from up here I've seen it all, good and bad times too. I stand for you. I've seen first kisses, desperate wishes, beauty queens and old sons of bitches, counting their blessings, living where they do. I've seen this town in trouble, fights and struggles. You all pull together and help one another. There ain't nothing that you can't get through. It's what we do. You stand for me, I stand for you. Put your faith in family, friends and God, freedom and truth. I stand for you. I'll fly forever, never stop. I love the view. I stand for you. I've seen first kisses, desperate wishes, beauty queens and old sons of bitches, counting their blessings for living where they do. I've seen this town in trouble, fights and struggles. You all pull together and help one another. There ain't nothing that you can't get through. It's what we do. You stand for me, I stand for you.
Happy birthday, United States Army.
May no man ever take me down. May my stars and stripes never touch the ground. I stand for you. I stand for you. You stand for me. I could hear you in the beginning, and I can hear the music.
This courthouse
Then you just went away.
Red, white, and blue. I stand for you.
Okay. And we should be back on. Okay. I don't know why I now have this. There we go. All right. There we go. Can you hear me now, Andy? No, can you hear me now? There we go. All right. All right. And I don't know what happened here. We lost our guest. All right, cool. Mike is in his car going to work. And
Yeah.
Well, Mike,
Andy, if I can make a comment, I think our previous guest, before we get our other guest back on, I think he hit the nail right on the head. And that is, we have to hope people like Southern Sense, myself, and just others, there are many of us, we can thwart this off, because even with a president who's favorable to us, it's very clear that they've infiltrated our political party to whereas they're just not going to fight in the manner we are going to fight until a new generation, what we hope, can come along and retake this country.
Absolutely. Well, that's why I want to try to bring our guest back on. Can you hear me now, Andy?
I can hear you.
Oh,
hey,
good.
Andy,
Amen.
welcome.
How are you?
Well, you see, I did a little research on you, and you're an amazing person. You've done TV reality shows. You have your own band and everything. You've got now this American Rebel beer, and you're gonna have to send me a 6-pack because we can't get it here in South Carolina.
We're actually all around South Carolina. We'll be opening up South Carolina soon, so we'll have you covered.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. You know, there's so much to talk to you about because I was looking at your videos and learning a little bit about yourself. But how the heck did you get started in all this? How did you get into the TV, doing the hunting and everything else?
Yeah, you know, it's one big continuous blessing and story. I had a passion growing up for hunting. When we were young, you know, before school, we'd go duck hunting, upland bird hunting, pheasants, quail. And when I got older, I got into archery and bow hunting. I had a friend that was filming for a group called the Drury Brothers that had a show on the Outdoor Channel. And he said, hey, you know, why don't I come along and film some of your hunts? And so for a hunting season, he came along and filmed, and we edited a DVD and circulated it around. And the next thing you know, I had an offer to do a TV show, which was called Maximum Archery. We decided on the show that although the hunting was very entertaining, it's a lot of being very quiet too. And we wanted to get some action and some rock and roll and some grit into the show. So we changed the name to Maximum Archery, added the world tour, and we treated the show and the hunting adventures as if we were on tour. We took the species, the dates, where we were hunting, and put them on the back of t-shirts like old Van Halen or Journey concert shirts. And we would film the camaraderie and the travel and going in and out of bars and almost getting in a bar fight and finding laundry. And because, you know, when we went on a hunt, we would go, you know, we'd go on 3 hunts back to back. We'd be gone 6-8 weeks at a time. And so what we decided to do was, you know, film the travel. And I thought it would be fun to add some music into it to kind of give it a rock and roll edge, and I could play. So I wrote songs like Gotta Go Hunting Blues, Hunt Me Down, Buck of a Lifetime, Blood Trail on a Whitetail, Support Your Local Wildlife. And when I wrote these songs and put them out, I truly did it for the TV show. But what I didn't know was going to happen was the internet was going to explode, file sharing was going to become a thing, and iTunes was going to be born. So all of a sudden I had music going viral. Nashville called. I got to come to Nashville, work with some really great artists, and have the opportunity. I'm actually recording my 4th record as we speak. And So it's just been all one blessing. You know, I had an album out in 2015, a CD called Time to Fight. And on that CD was a song called American Rebel. It went viral as a patriotic anthem, landed me on Counting Cars, where Danny built me the Second Amendment muscle car on a show called Rocked and Loaded. And we decided to turn the song into a brand. Entrepreneurial friend of mine that had brought Smith & Wesson back to the country heard the song and said, Andy, there's a brand there. The song's the mission statement. And that launched the company. So it's been just one opportunity turning into the next.
Yeah, I'm just glad Smith & Wesson came back because that was my off duty. Little 38 Chief.
We're down again.
So, oh, no. I hate to see that again. But anyway, our co-host is driving to his job, so I don't know if he's going to be able to join us. Can you hear me, Andy? Because there's still a lot more to talk about. I don't know if it's on your end or ours, because I'm getting my mic is saying that it is active on here. So it's got to be on your end. And I apologize for that, because you've got the American Rebel beer that we were talking about. But you're also looking ahead to American 250 and the celebrations that are coming in. Can you hear me, Andy, now? I've got your song. I got your noise. This is really strange. Okay. You're also doing some work to help celebrate our 250th anniversary. And I've lost my co-host too, so it looks like I'm on my own. I'm sorry, Andy. It's got to be on your side because I'm showing that I do have, and I'm not getting anything on your mic. Your mic is making no. Whoop. All right. I just lost Andy completely. All right. So I guess I am on my own anyway. All right, guys, there is a lot that we can keep on talking about. What is going on with these attacks here in the United States. And we're seeing them now throughout the rest of the world in various areas, but the media is not really mentioning them. Hopefully, Andy will be able to sign back in. We're also looking at a lot of other things that are going on in the world, especially with the housing and how President Trump has made this executive order, and the House has now passed legislation dealing with it. I'm waiting to see what the end result is. The Senate has their own bill, so they're going to have to be married somehow or other, but we got to see what's in it and how much regulation they're going to add to it. Let's try Andy once again. Andy, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, now your mic is lit up. Okay, so now we got it. I just went on a rambling thing, so I have no idea what I just said.
I apologize. It seems like I have you for a little bit. That's like the third time, and then the audio disappears. I sincerely apologize to you and your viewers. I've never experienced this before.
Well, it could be something could be interfering with your internet transmission too, which if it sets it off, it'll change. It's possible it's changing your settings in your computer. Anyway, that's later on. But I was talking about you're trying to become more involved with the American celebration of our 250th anniversary this year, July 4th. And I remember the celebrations we had in 1976 at the 200th. And I'm not seeing the same level of energy yet for this celebration. And I think that's a shame. That's why someone like you, that is actually a representative of the heart of America, you're involved, and I'm glad to see that. So what are you planning to do for the 250th?
Well, we've got a lot of events that we're playing in celebration of the 250. One that's probably most notable is playing at Gettysburg on July 3rd for the 4th of July celebration up there. So we're very excited about that. You know, I'm in hopes that the 250th is the time where people can reflect, where the older generations can talk about what they saw and how this country was built and what they went through in order to for us to be here and have such a celebration that people will reflect and listen and absorb. So, the young generation will absorb from the older generation. And, our country is amazing. It's to be an entrepreneur and chase the American dream. Everybody says, well, it's different now. It's different now. And the truth of the matter is that the situations might be different, but it's really the same. And what this country brings you and offers you is opportunity mixed with difficulty. There's a lot of opportunity out there. And if you want to start your own podcast and take advantage of, and that be your opportunity, or you want to, play music or run a business or start a business, there's plenty of opportunity, but it does come with difficulty. That's the way it's always been. It doesn't go easy. You're not always successful out of the gate. You've got to keep trying and keep, understand that there are going to be obstacles in the road, but not every country offers you opportunity. And so I'll take opportunity mixed with difficulty over no opportunity any day of the week.
Right, that's the beauty of America. You can be born in a household that's dirt poor, or you can be an orphan. But as you go through life, we in the United States, because the unique way our founders built it and gave us the Constitution, which is the bedrock of it. That's the bedrock of all law in here. And it gives you the opportunity to try to succeed. No guarantee for success.
No,
but
you get the opportunity. And if I used to say this a lot, and it just kind of come to my mind, but everybody ought to take a globe and set it beside their bed. And in the morning when you wake up, spin that globe with your eyes shut, take your finger and stop it, and then see what country your finger landed on, and then ask yourself, are you better off where you woke up than if you would have woke up at this place? And 100% of the time, you're without question, you're better off. There's more opportunity. You have the ability to be free. Our country, our Constitution. We get really caught up because there are negative things going on out there that certainly deserve debate, even complaint. But man, don't forget how good we got it too. There's no other country like United States of America, and I'm looking forward to really shouting it out on the 250.
And your music and everything is so pro-American and also supporting in the Constitution. Your ability to speak forward, your ability to own a firearm, your ability to try to do anything. And it's in your music, which is very inspirational. But you start off using one form of music, but then when you got with a certain producer, he said, this is your sound. You developed your own sound unique to yourself. And he said, go with it. And you're succeeding because of that one producer, correct?
You did do some background. There's many factors into why I'm successful, but Doug Grau would certainly be the producer that I had the opportunity to meet, who put me with some good writers, would be at the top of the list. Doug said to me, he said, Andy, he said, hunting is this big. Bow hunting is this big. What else? We can't do a whole album of hunting songs, which is all you've done to date. What else are you passionate about? And I, just started talking about the Second Amendment and passionate for our country and standing up for the Constitution. And he said, well, patriotism is this big, why don't we write some stuff in this vein? And what was really interesting was I grew up liking rock and roll. I like rock and roll. And I grew up even with the 80s and the hair bands and the heavy metal and the harder rock. Doug grew up in the country world. He produced and put together Little Texas and produced and managed Travis Tritt and Jeff Foxworthy. And so he was in the country world. He's like, well, we've got to mirror, we've got to put these two things together, because I need you to give me music I can help you with. But yet you don't want to play twang twang. So we got to find your sound, and we developed what we call, when someone says, describe your music? I say it's country, patriotic, rock and roll. And
well, that is a great introduction as I play one of your videos here. Hang on, here we go. It's the All American Heart, the official one. Here we go. Oh.
Here's to the cornfield farmer, old rig roughnecks too. Nurses on the night shift, drummer on a drum kit, ain't it red, white, and blue, doing their thing, playing their part, an all-American heart. Big rig burning up the asphalt, blue collar on the line. Small town teachers, Bible Belt preachers, under them stars and stripes, doing their thing, playing their part, living the dream with an all-American heart. From the south to the heartland, every woman and man, all living for the same thing. From back east to out west, just doing their best. Let that freedom ring. Oh, they're doing their thing. They're playing their part, just living the dream with an all-American heart. So here's to everybody putting it all on the line, state to state, pulling their weight, coming through every time. Yeah, doing their thing, playing their part, living the dream right from the start with an all-American heart. With an all-American heart, just living the dream with an all-American heart.
All right. I love the violin in the end. I really do. I think that was a nice touch. And I got to say, honestly, the people that watch or listen to me don't know I used to play violin. And I ended up through high school, I ended up being first violin, first stand, and everything else. And, unfortunately, I had a motorcycle accident.
Oh,
I was taking a lesson so I can get my license, and he gave me a bike that the throttle would stick. And when I went to hit the brakes, they slid. And I said, oh, no. I says, you got to get me a new one. And this guy must have been 6'4", weighing somewhere close to about 275, gets there with his bare paws. He goes, there's nothing wrong here. He says, okay. So I go to do a figure eight. Sure enough, the throttle jammed, the brakes slid, and I go face first into a fence. And with that thorn bush all around it, I was pissed. And I actually broke both my hands here, of course, the knuckles and the joints. And he goes, are you hurt? As I'm yanking on the handlebars, cursing my head off. No, I'm trying to get the effing bike out of here. And I finished the lesson. I did finish the lesson with 2 broken hands.
oh my.
But that killed my violin career. Anyway, we're trying to see, and I think you were going to be a major cause of this, seeing a new awakening of American patriotism. For so many years, we've been told that we're an embarrassment, we're racist, we're this, we're that. But to talk about the American heart like you do in that song, I think it's going to help to awaken true patriotism in people.
Yeah, I think we're even seeing it with the young people today, and that's important because as the quote says, they are the future. But you're starting to see it on college campuses. You're starting to see it with young families that are taking more of a conservative approach. And I like to remind people, I don't think anyone would have a hard time figuring out I'm pretty conservative and lean pretty good to the right. But I do respect. I do respect our system, our two-party system, and I do have friends that aren't 100% like-minded. But I think a lot of us have more in common than we think. I think there's you can go to that final 10% off to the right that, you know, you might wonder what they're, you know, what's on their mind, and that, you know, that percentage of far left, and, you know, the far right and the far left are different, for sure. They're very different, but, you know, the ones of us that are just right of the middle or left of the middle, or, you know, to the middle of the right, to the middle of the left, you know, I think we're all, you know, reasonable people that, you know, there should be debate. I remember President Reagan, I always thought it was interesting that President Reagan said, man, if I can go in there and get 70% of what I want, I feel like I've got a victory. Like, I'm good with that. If I can get the other party to meet me at like 70%, and he would put deals together, you know?
Yes.
And
instead, we've got, you have to think my way or no way. So we get stuck with DEI. We get stuck with our children being mutilated. You know, we have to turn around and say, listen, we agree to disagree. However, we have to draw the line somewhere and say we have to meet to make sure that everything we do for this nation is the best. And that's basically what the message you're getting out there. And I'm looking at the clock. We're running down to like one more minute. And it's a shame we didn't have a full time with you because the audio problems. So I apologize for that. But we'll definitely have to get you back on.
Please.
I mean, you do have a unique story with your music and everything else, and how you're cheering us on, yourself, our nation, for our 250th birthday. This is a unique year, a unique time in everyone's life.
Well, we got a lot going on, a lot we didn't cover, a lot about the 250, new music coming out. Our company's doing amazing. Our beer's in 18 states, and I would love to have more time to visit with you. So please invite me back. I'll be here.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And God bless you for all the hard work you do. We definitely will get you back on soon. People can find you at American Rebel, correct?
AmericanRebel.com, AmericanRebelBeer.com, and the music's at AndyRoss.com.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about some of the apparel you have made for women. I got a bone to pick with you, but we'll do that at another time.
Let's do it.
All right, Andy. God bless you, and thank you so much for joining us.
God bless you. Thank you.
We have now coming up next week, we have a gentleman, Robert Taft. Interesting. He's written some great books. He'll be joining us next week. And Hannah Davis will be back with us next week. So that's all we have for the show, everyone. So we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat station. And I say good night and
I'm praying for this land I love, America, America, the home of the free. But there are people making plans to change America. They've no respect for her or what matters most to me. That's why I stand for the flag and I kneel at the cross. Mourn for the friends I have loved and lost. And I still believe in God we trust, and the freedom our forefathers granted us. I hope it's not too late to save America. Do you hear our battle cry across America? We've got to rescue her. You know it's up to me and you to see the truth behind their lies. Don't change America. God bless America and the red, white, and blue. Why I stand for the flag and I kneel at the cross. Long for the friends I have loved and lost. And I still believe in God we trust, and the freedom our forefathers granted us. I hope it's not too America. For the friends we have loved and lost, and we still believe in God we trust, in the freedom our forefathers granted us. We know it's not too late to save America. Save America. Together we can save America.